After making $200 million from the stock market, I resigned from my position as a first-wife executive. To give my husband a surprise, I called and lied to him. "Honey, I've been laid off. I'll have to rely on you." I didn't expect him to bring back a woman the very next day. "Since you're going to depend on me, you wouldn't mind if I had another wife, would you?" "Don't worry, you'll be the first wife, and she'll be the second wife." Taking advantage of the bull market, I invested a few million of my savings in the stock market, gambling on buying at the bottom. I didn't expect to win. My assets multiplied several times, turning a few million into hundreds of millions. I gritted my teeth and resigned from my position as a first-wife executive, which I had held for many years. I planned to take the money and travel around the world with my husband, David. I could even imagine how happy David would be when he found out I had made $100 million. He would probably hug me and cry with excitement. To give him a surprise, I called him. It rang for a long time before he answered, his tone gentle. "What's up, baby?" "I'm busy at the store." "What do you want for dinner tonight?" "Text message me what you want to eat, okay, baby?" I said with a sob, my voice choked with emotion. "Honey, the economy's been bad lately, and the company's been laying people off." "They laid me off." There was a moment of silence on the other end of the phone. David was incredulous. What did you say?" "Emily, that's not a funny joke." I had worked at the company for many years and was a key employee. David didn't think the company would lay me off no matter how many others they laid off. "Honey, I'm not joking. I'll have to rely on you." His voice was cold as he continued to ask me, "So, you're not planning to look for a new job or beg your boss?" I casually hummed in agreement and replied, "The economy's so bad right now. It's not easy to find a job. I'm planning to stay home and relax for a year or two." "Honey, I'm counting on you for the next couple of years." David breathed heavily, his tone full of anger, and the gentleness from before was long gone. "Me? Emily, are you kidding me? My store only makes a few $100,000 a year. How am I supposed to support you? I'm giving you two choices. Go find a job right now, or go beg your boss. Otherwise, don't come home." He hung up the phone immediately after finishing. My hand froze by my ear, and I stood there stunned. David was actually reacting like this. We had been married for 2 years, and he had never raised his voice at me. Now, he was not only yelling at me but also telling me not to come home. I initially got together with David because of his great cooking skills. At that time, he was just a frustrated office worker. His ideal life was to show the world his talent. So, I used my money to open an arts academy for him so he could do what he wanted. He was both the principal and a performing arts teacher there. Thinking about the past few years of our marriage, he ate my food and used my money. Now that I wanted him to support me, this was his attitude. The Arts Academy makes a few $100,000 a year. How could it not support 2 people? My heart instantly turned cold. But then I thought again, after all, my job brought in millions a year. It was understandable that David couldn't accept it for a while. So, I decided to give him another chance. When I got home, I found several people there. It was my mother-in-law and David's older brother and sister-in-law. David was nowhere to be seen. The house was a mess. My mother-in-law was sitting on the sofa with her legs crossed, cracking melon seeds. Her dirty shoes were directly on the coffee table. When she saw me come back, she glared at me and said, "You're finally back. Hurry up and cook. I'm starving." When she saw that I didn't move, she spoke again. "What, can't you understand human speech? You're unemployed now and need my son to support you. Hurry up and cook for me." When we got married, I had a conflict with David's mother. She insisted that I take out $2 million to buy a house for his older brother. Otherwise, she wouldn't let David marry me. Naturally, I wasn't willing and had a big fight with her. Fortunately, David was reasonable and lectured his mother, which finally calmed her down. At that time, David promised me that he wouldn't make me interact with his mother if I didn't want to. But today, they actually came over on their own. I pointed at the door and said coldly, "This is my house. Who allowed you to come here?" My mother-in-law started crying and wailing, slapping her legs. "Oh, you heartless wretch, I'm your mother-in-law. You actually want to kick us out. Everyone, come and see. She's living in my son's house and doesn't even try to be filial. Come and see this ungrateful person." David's older brother walked over with a cigarette in his mouth. He looked me up and down. "Since you don't have a job, that means my brother has to support you. Since he's supporting you, you have to listen to us." He sat on the sofa and crossed his legs. "David hasn't been filial to Mom in the 2 years he's been married to you. Now, it's time to be filial to Mom. Now that you don't have a job and he has to support you, what else do you want? Let me tell you, Emily, you have to listen to us now, or don't blame David for kicking you out." My sister-in-law walked over cheerfully and took my arm. "Emily, it's not that I'm trying to lecture you, but women should be virtuous. David has been good to you before. Now, it's time for you to be sensible. We've never lived in a nice house before. We're just here to stay for a while and won't bother you." I glanced at her, and she shrank back a little. It turned out this whole family was a bunch of ungrateful persons. I had helped my sister-in-law a lot in the past 2 years. As a woman, I felt sorry for her since she had married into our family from far away and didn't have any relatives or friends here. I helped her find a job, took her to beauty salons, and even helped my nephew find a kindergarten to attend. As long as she had problems and told me, I would definitely help her. Now that she heard I didn't have a job, she was acting like a sister-in-law. I didn't want to say anything more to this family, so I pulled my arm away and went back to my room. When I saw the scene in the room, my anger flared up. My clothes were scattered everywhere. The jewelry cabinet was pulled open, and the jewelry inside was all over the floor. The closet was full of David's family's clothes. Little Timmy was sitting on the bed, eating happily. Next to him were my bags, filled with unwrapped food and drinks. I sneered. I originally wanted to make so much money and buy them a house in a good school district and get David's older brother a car. Now it seemed like there was no need. I walked to the door and looked coldly at the smug group of people. "What do you mean by this? Get this straight. I bought this house." My mother-in-law looked at me expressionlessly. "How dare you talk to me like that? What's yours is my son's. Remember, you're going to depend on my son for the next few years. If you don't listen, my son will kick you out. Now, get out of the room for me right now." I was so angry that I was panting. I bought this house with my own money. What does it have to do with David? You're not leaving, right? Fine, wait for David to come back and kick you out himself. After saying that, I called David. But looking at their expressions, they were smug and not scared at all. A sense of unease welled up in my heart. Could it be that David brought them back? David didn't answer the phone. I called, and he hung up. I didn't know what he was busy with. I sent him a text message. "David, why are your mother and the others here? They're ringing around in the house and won't leave. Come back quickly. Half A." An hour later, David finally arrived late. He yawned, looking disheveled. The moment he saw me, a hint of impatience flashed in his eyes. "What's wrong now? The Arts Academy is very busy. Why have you been calling me?" Before I could speak, my mother-in-law ran towards David, crying and wailing. Son, Emily is so audacious and disrespectful. She actually wants to kick us out. David clicked his tongue in annoyance. He pushed me away with one hand, and I lost my balance and bumped into the table with a thud. I gasped in pain. David acted as if he didn't see it and scolded me. Emily, what do you mean by this? This is my mother. Do you even act like a wife? How dare you kick them out? Get this straight. You don't have a job now, and you need me to support you. My heart sank to the bottom. His family finally revealed their true colors. David leaned against the table nonchalantly, playing with a water glass. He seemed very sure that I couldn't leave him. Emily, I went to ask around, and you're right. The job market is very bad right now, and you're almost 30. It won't be easy to find a new job. All those savings you had, you invested in houses, and now they're plummeting. You only have me now. You have to be obedient, and I can share a meal with you. If you're not obedient, you can leave. I sneered. A few years ago, David listened to his friends and, without discussing it with me, secretly used our savings to buy several pre-construction homes. He said it was a super project and buying them would be an investment with a return of 1,000%. And the result? Now, the house prices had been halved, and the developers had run off with the money long ago. Those houses had all become unfinished projects. During that time, he was afraid I would scold him, so he tried to please me every day. I felt sorry for him and thought that we were husband and wife. Money could be earned again, but once feelings were gone, they were gone. So, I didn't say much. But now, he actually had the nerve to bring it up. I took a deep breath and said, David, I'm only going to say this once. Tell them to get out. David laughed, pointing at me. Emily, do you think you're still making millions a year? What are you acting so high and mighty for? How dare you order me around? I said, if you listen to me, I'll keep you. If you don't listen, you're the one who should get lost. I was about to speak when a scream suddenly came from the room. Little Timmy ran out with a chicken leg in one hand, his mouth full of grease. He was wearing my underwear. He rushed over and kicked and hit me. You're bad. You're a bad aunt. Mommy, I don't want this aunt. I want Ashley aunt. I was about to get angry when I froze. Ashley aunt? Who is Ashley aunt? Little Timmy stuck out his tongue at me. He said, she's a pretty and beautiful aunt, not like you, you tigress. After little Timmy finished complaining, my sister-in-law pretended to cover his mouth. She smiled apologetically at me. Emily, I'm sorry. Children are so unfiltered. Don't blame him. My mother-in-law scoffed. What are you afraid of her for? She doesn't have any money now and is spending my son's money. Why are you saying these things to her? I looked at David, and a hint of panic flashed in his eyes. But he quickly regained his composure. I said in a deep voice, so, who is this Ashley you're talking about? I looked at David with a smile that wasn't a smile. David, don't tell me that's the mistress you found by cheating? David jumped up, his neck stiff, and said, that's bull. What mistress? Don't you dare slander me. My mother-in-law grabbed David. David, what are you still afraid of her for? Just tell her directly that Ashley is 100 times more gentle and kind than her. If it weren't for you, my David would have married Ashley long ago. My mother-in-law took out her phone and dialed a number. Ashley, come over here. There's no need to hide it anymore. You can officially take over. My face darkened immediately. I clenched my palms tightly, my fingertips turning white. So, David really cheated. It was ridiculous, eating my food and using my money, and he even dared to have an affair right under my nose. It seemed like I had been too good to them in the past. No, that's not right. The old woman said that if it weren't for me, he would have married Ashley long ago. That meant she was someone he knew before me. I remembered that when I was with David, he told me that I was his first love and that he had never been in love before. He had never liked anyone. I sat down in a chair. I wanted to see what tricks they were going to play. A dozen minutes later, a frail woman walked in with tears in her eyes. She wanted to throw herself into David's arms as soon as she entered, but she stopped when she saw me sitting in the chair. She said timidly, "Sister, hello. David, you know your sister is here. Why did you call me over?" I curled my lips into a smile. What a strong flavor of green tea. David's Adam's apple bobbed, and he glanced at me timidly. Seeing the sarcastic look in my eyes, his body straightened. He pulled Ashley into his arms and gently wiped away her tears. "Emily, I think you're going too far. Ashley even called you sister, and you scared her to tears?" I burst out laughing. "David, I think you should go see an ophthalmologist tomorrow." Did I say a single word? A mistress dares to appear in front of me. It's already me being nice that I haven't laid a hand on her. David's mouth twitched with anger. Ashley suddenly shouted, I'm not a mistress." David, I knew David before her. My mother-in-law crossed her arms and looked at me arrogantly. "Emily, you're the mistress. Ashley and my David grew up together as childhood sweethearts. If you hadn't interfered, they would have been together long ago." I stared coldly at David. "Is that so?" David touched his nose and swallowed involuntarily. Does any of that even matter now? I'm the head of the family now, and everyone in the family has to listen to me." Ashley immediately wiped away her tears and rubbed her face against his. "David, you're so manly. Have you guys eaten? I'll go cook now." After saying that, she went into the kitchen very familiarly. It seemed like she had been here more than once or twice. In an instant, I thought about them doing those things in my house. I felt like throwing up. It was disgusting. David looked at me triumphantly. "Emily, as long as you listen to me, I'll let you be the first wife. Let me tell you, many women love me, but I only want the two of you." He shouted towards the kitchen, "Ashley, come out here first." Ashley responded and walked towards David obsequiously. "David, what's wrong?" "I'm cooking." "I'm asking you, are you willing to be the second wife and let Emily be the first wife?" She bit her lip, her eyes filled with tears. She looked extremely wronged. I'm willing. As long as I can be with David, I'm willing to do anything. Sister, let's get along well in the future and serve David together." My mother-in-law looked me up and down, then said disdainfully, "Ashley, you did the right thing today. Emily is doing too poorly. Don't prepare any food for her tonight. She'll understand after she's hungry for a couple of meals." I burst out laughing. This family was putting on a soap opera. David really thought he was the emperor. I slowly got up, patted the non-existent dust off my body, and walked in front of David. David snorted coldly. "What's wrong? Are you scared? As long as you kneel down and apologize to me and my mom, I'll." With a loud smack, a heavy slap interrupted him. My hand was numb. "David, your family is disgusting. I must have been blind to have liked you before." My mother-in-law screamed and wanted to rush up and hit me. I grabbed the nearby wine bottle and smashed it. "Come on, try touching me." My sister-in-law frowned and started to persuade me. "Emily, we're all family. There's no need to make things like this. You're a woman. Don't be so fierce. How can you resort to violence at home? This won't do." I glared at her. "Ungrateful person, shut up, or don't blame me for not holding back." My sister-in-law shut her mouth immediately. David shouted angrily, Emily, you don't have a job anymore. What are you acting so high and mighty for? Let me tell you, I want a divorce. Divorce. I can't live with this tigress anymore. Emily, you can go wander. You'll regret it after you leave me. I sneered and turned to pack my things. The furious David dragged me to City Hall to register for a divorce. That was exactly what I wanted him to say. My feelings for you are now void. From now on, don't blame me for not considering our past relationship. After leaving home, I found a place to live. There was a 30-day cooling-off period for the divorce. I had to successfully end this damn marriage. I found a lawyer who quickly drafted a divorce agreement and sent it to David. That afternoon, David called. As soon as I answered, he started roaring, "Emily, are you shameless? Why should I leave with nothing? Why does the Arts Academy have to be returned to you?" That's my Arts Academy. Ashley already told you. You're the mistress. Don't you understand? Let me tell you, I don't agree with the agreement. I chuckled. If you don't agree, then don't blame me for publicizing this at your Arts Academy. David immediately deflated and softened his tone. He tried to please me like before. Emily, I'm sorry. I was just speaking too loudly. Baby, we've been married for 2 years. I've worked hard, even if I haven't made any contributions. Baby, forgive me, okay? I really need the Arts Academy. It's a place for me to develop my ambitions. You know how pitiful I was before. And this house, I've developed feelings for it. I felt my stomach churning with acid. Shut up. Don't call me baby. I'm already divorced. From you. Baby, you're my baby. I don't want to get divorced. I'm going to go cancel the divorce registration right now. Oh, David was really getting smarter. He was starting to retreat in order to advance. He must have thought I couldn't stand it and had to get a divorce. So, I followed his words. Okay, then you support me. I've supported you for so many years. You should support me too. After saying that, I hung up the phone. I bought the house, and I paid for the Arts Academy. David really wanted to take all the benefits. I didn't care about the money for the house and the Arts Academy, but I couldn't let them have an easy time. I stared at the ceiling all night, thinking of a good idea. The Arts Academy could be given to them. I wanted to watch them fall from heaven to hell with my own eyes. With David's level and his high tuition fees, why were there so many students going to learn? Because I used to be a first wife executive at client company. Those subcontractors tried everything they could to please me. David's Arts Academy was also within the scope of their flattery. So, the next day, when David came to argue with me again, I readily agreed. But I demanded that they move out of my mansion immediately. David had no choice but to agree for the sake of the Arts Academy. After all, the Arts Academy was his only source of income. Without the Arts Academy, where would his family get money? That day, I took people to the mansion and made them get out. My mother-in-law cried and wailed, and starting around at the door again, denouncing my unfilial behavior. Soon, the surrounding neighbors were crowded around. Seeing that there were more and more people, my mother-in-law cried even louder. Everyone, come and see this unfilial daughter-in-law. She's actually trying to kick our whole family out, this ungrateful person. These things all belong to my son. She doesn't have a job now and is depending on my son to support her. I sat in a chair and casually blew on the dust on my fingers. Come on, keep going. Why is your voice so soft? It's not loud enough. Louder. Call everyone in the gated community over and see how amazing David is, wanting to support 2 wives. I pulled Ashley over and said to the onlookers with a smile, he even wanted me to be the first wife and her to be the second wife. The neighbors' expressions changed instantly, and they looked extremely disgusted. Ugh, what is this? Thinking he's the emperor. That's right. Who doesn't know that the male head of this family is just a gigolo? His wife lost her job, and he immediately changed his face. I think it's not your wife who's the ungrateful person, it's your whole family who are ungrateful persons. That's right. I remember Emily always fulfilling her husband's requests. I didn't expect her husband to be cheating on her. The neighbors' voices were neither loud nor soft, and they accurately reached the ears of David's family. Their faces turned red and white, like a traffic light. They quickly ran back into the house to pack their things. Ashley still hadn't given up and started to cry, sobbing with her mouth covered. No, you've all misunderstood. I'm not a mistress. David and I knew each other first. You can slander me, but you can't slander my David. The neighbors laughed out loud when they heard that. Oh, this mistress is so devoted. You knew him first, so why didn't he marry you? He married a rich woman. That's right. It means your family was all thinking about Emily's money. Now that Emily doesn't have any money, you're showing your true colors. Some neighbors even pulled their daughters over to warn them. Did you see that, honey? You must never engage in financial support for men in the future. Don't find a useless man with no money. Especially this kind of man. Stay away from them when you see them. Her daughter nodded solemnly. She sized David up and down, her eyes filled with contempt. David's face was red and grey. And, like a traffic light, it was wonderful. He pulled Ashley over and scolded, "What are you embarrassing yourself for here? I told you not to talk." Ashley cried even harder. David, I'm sorry. I just wanted them not to misunderstand you. I crossed my arms, too lazy to watch them put on a show. Hey, it's been an hour. How long are you going to pack for? David's family seemed to be deliberately trying to disgust me. They deliberately packed slowly in the house. I wouldn't indulge them. I directly let several cleaners come in. Auntie, please sweep all the garbage out. I'll double the cleaning fee. Hearing about the extra money, the aunties were all motivated. They directly picked up brooms and mops and went inside. They swept their things directly out. They pinched their noses as they swept. The old woman and my sister-in-law screamed. Emily, what are you doing? Our clothes are all falling out. I leaned against the wall and sneered. I gave you time. You didn't cherish it, so don't blame me. The cleaning auntie even deliberately sprayed disinfectant on their things. The old woman shouted at the top of her lungs, "This is disinfectant. It's poisonous. Are you blind?" The cleaning auntie smiled pretentiously. I'm sorry. I thought it was garbage. The few of them were trembling with anger, pointing at me and unable to speak. David gritted his teeth. Fine, Emily, you're ruthless. I'll see how you live without money. There will be a time when you'll be crying and begging me. Mom, brother, let's go. Staying here will dirty our feet. I shrugged. Hurry up and get lost. The group left in a sorry state with their bags. The air felt fresher as soon as they left. After the mansion was cleaned, I directly put it up for sale with a real estate agent. I didn't want to look at this house anymore. When I saw it, I thought of how blind I had been in the past. I didn't touch the 200 million from the stock market for the time being. I had a lot of client res. Horses. I had originally planned to start my own company after traveling around the world with David. Now, before I got the divorce certificate, I would take a domestic trip first. I directly bought a plane ticket and went to Montana that day. I hadn't deleted David's family's text message accounts. I wanted to see what kind of tricks they could come up with. That day, David took his family to live in a mansion. Of course, it wasn't bought with cash. It was bought with a mortgage loan using the Arts Academy as collateral. He posted a post on social media, snuggling up with Ashley. Behind them, the dining table was full of dishes. He also included a video, "Marry a virtuous wife." With so many dishes, which of your wives can make them all by herself? Unlike some people, who can't even cook a meal. I'd sked twice. There were about 15 or 16 dishes on that table. Ashley had made them all. So, people who like to suffer will always suffer. If you keep working, you'll never finish working. Ashley, I can see your future. Endless suffering and endless work. A sister-in-law watching the show, and a demanding mother-in-law. I closed my phone and focused on enjoying my vacation. 2 days before the end of the divorce cooling-off period, David called me. "Emily, reminding you, don't forget about the divorce certificate the day after tomorrow." He paused and continued, "Have you reflected on yourself this month? Do you know what you did wrong? If you admit your mistakes and come back and kowtow to us, I'll forgive you. Ashley won't mind, but you won't be able to be the first wife. You can only be the second wife." I sneered. "The hell I will." He was stunned, completely breaking down. "Emily, why are you so rude, as a woman? It's a good thing I'm doing the right thing in divorcing you." I mocked. "Rude? If you say a few more words, I have something even ruder I want to say. Do you want to hear it? I'll see you at City Hall the day after tomorrow." After say. Ing that, David hung up the phone in a hurry. Heh, coward. On that day, I wore all black, with a black hat and sunglasses, and appeared at City Hall. Ashley, whom I hadn't seen in a month, seemed much more tired. Her dark circles were heavy, and she forced a smile. David's whole family came. David's older brother bought a used Mercedes-Benz, and his sister-in-law was also standing there wearing a fancy dress. She averted her eyes when she saw me. The old woman was even more radiant. She had even gotten a perm. It seemed like Ashley was the only one who was having a bad time. But she seemed very afraid that I would take David away. The moment she saw me, she leaned into David's arms like a bird, raising her ring finger at me. "Sister, you're getting a divorce today, and I'm getting married." I said indifferently. "Congrats," Ashley said. "You're in for a world of pain." She didn't get what I meant and probably thought I was jealous. I couldn't be bothered to say another word to them. I just walked right in. The old woman followed behind me, muttering, "Dressed like that, anyone would think someone in your family died." I took off my sunglasses and smiled. "Being widowed, isn't that the same as dead?" The old woman's neck stiffened, and she was too angry to speak. The divorce was processed quickly. The moment I got the divorce certificate, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. The suffocating feeling of being bound by marriage vanished completely. Ashley's eyes lit up when she saw the divorce certificate. She hurriedly dragged David next door to get their marriage certificate. She came out waving the booklet at me triumphantly. "Emily, plenty of people want me, but you're just an unwanted tigress. You could beg me later, and I still wouldn't give you the time of day." I sat in the car and burst out laughing, celebrating my new life. I immediately spent $20 million to buy a mansion in a gated community that I had been eyeing for a long time. I had originally planned to give it to David. I lay on the king-sized bed in the mansion, closed my eyes, and started contacting travel agencies to plan a round-the-world trip. Of course, I wasn't idle when it came to David. In 2 weeks, it would be September, which meant it was also the enrollment season for David's Arts Academy. I was curious to see how many students David's school would attract. Because of my departure, some of the clients were already hesitant. They knew that I was planning to start my own company, so they were still willing to try and win me over. What would happen when they found out I was divorced? Soon, David's enrollment season arrived. I went to the enrollment ceremony. He loved showing off, so he held one every semester to demonstrate how popular and amazing he was. Every time, he would give a speech followed by on-site registration to show how many students his school had and how many people were clamoring to get in. I arrived early, wearing sunglasses, and watched from a distance. Although there were fewer people than before, the square was still full. David struck a pose, put his hands behind his back, picked up the microphone, and walked onto the stage. He began his usual endless speech. People below were yawning. Some people asked each other, "Why isn't Ms. Lin here? Didn't she come today?" "Yeah, she used to be backstage." I looked around and didn't see her. I heard they were fighting. Could it be true? We'll ask later. There were also a few major clients asking about it via text message. Now was the time. I directly posted the divorce certificate on my social media. Away from scumbags, living my best life. It was like a drop of water falling into hot oil, and it exploded instantly. A bunch of people and familiar clients asked me what was going on. I replied uniformly, "Met the wrong person, but I'm fine now." Those were all smart people and quickly understood what I meant. Holy crap, they're divorced. Yeah, it seems like the guy Che ate. Why would we sign up for his class then? Let's go, we're not signing up. If it weren't for Ms. Lin's reputation, I would have been sick of this idiot long ago. David was on stage talking about tuition, saying that he was starting an on-site registration event. But he didn't expect that suddenly a bunch of people would leave. He was stunned, holding the microphone and asking what was going on. "Parents, don't leave, registration is starting now. Why are you leaving?" But no one paid attention to him. He got anxious, rushed down, and grabbed someone's sleeve. "Mr. Johnson, didn't you say you were going to sign up for dance and acting classes today? Why are you leaving?" Mr. Johnson shook off his hand with disgust. "You're divorced from Ms. Lin. Why the hell would I sign up?" David said ingratiatingly, "No, my divorce from Emily has nothing to do with the courses. Dancing and acting are my daughter's interests. It has nothing to do with her." Mr. Johnson looked at him like he was an idiot. "Are you out of your mind? There are so many other places I can take my daughter to learn. Why would I sign up here? Why do you think I signed up here in the first place? The way you teach is worse than the free classes next door. I'd have to be crazy to sign up here." David was desperate and held on to Mr. Johnson. "Mr. Johnson, don't go. I'll give you a discount, okay?" Mr. Johnson kicked him away. "Get out of here. Without Emily, what do you think you are?" David was like an ant on a hot pot, begging those clients to stay. But those people didn't give David any face. Some passers-by originally wanted to sign up, but left when they saw so many people leaving. Some were persuaded to stay away. You don't know how bad their school's classes are. Don't go there, it's a waste of money. You might as well sign up for XXX, it's more professional and cheaper. I almost laughed out loud. David hired inexperienced interns as teachers to save money. Anyway, people would come to learn no matter what. Now he was suffering the consequences of his own actions. His eyes were bloodshot, and he scolded Ashley, who was standing by. "What are you standing there for? Can't you even keep clients? What's the use? Get lost!" Ashley covered her face and ran away. At this point, David's enrollment ceremony had become a complete joke. He didn't recruit a single student this year. I turned around and left in my high heels. My round-the-world trip was about to begin. David sent countless text messages in the middle of it. At first, he cursed, and then he begged. He just wanted me to beg those clients to sign up for his classes. Otherwise, the school would collapse, and the teachers wouldn't get paid. But what did that have to do with me? I directly blocked his phone number and all contact information and focused on enjoying my trip. David didn't give up. The school was his only source of income. Without those clients, where would he get the money? So he took Ashley everywhere, begging on his knees. To no avail. He then started studying other academies and offering free classes to attract students, as well as doing roadshows. None of it worked. David always thought he was an unappreciated talent and had acting skills comparable to a movie star, but in reality, he was just a clown. Those teachers were all amateur teachers. People would leave after one free class. The roadshows were ridiculed by the public. People told him he'd be better off taking a class himself and earning some money. Soon, without students, the teachers at the Arts Academy gradually resigned. Before long, the Arts Academy completely failed. Unfortunately, David had mortgaged the Arts Academy to buy a mansion. He couldn't afford the tens of thousands of dollars in monthly payments. To repay the loan, he had to go out and find a job, forcing Ashley to find one too. But what could his meager salary do? Nothing. After a few months of traveling around the world, I returned. Unexpectedly, I met David's sister-in-law at the entrance of the gated community. She walked up to me affectionately. I looked straight ahead. She wanted to enter the gated community with me, but the security guard stopped her. Emily, we were wrong before. Can you forgive us? We really don't have any money now. We sold the mansion at a low price, and the school has been mortgaged to the bank. Please, save us. I picked at my ear. Save an ungrateful person again? Am I crazy? What happens to you guys has nothing to do with me. She sobbed while holding little Timmy. Then look, this is your nephew. He can't afford to go to school anymore. How can you, as his aunt, not care? Little Timmy reached out his hand, calling Auntie, Auntie. I took off my sunglasses and smiled. You've mistaken me. I'm not your aunt. Your aunt is Ashley. Your Ashley aunt. Both of their faces turned pale instantly. I sneered and turned to leave, instructing the security guard that these irrelevant people were not allowed to enter. When I got back, I started my own company. Because of my previous resources, the company's business quickly took off. By coincidence, David came to our company for an interview with his resume. I was sitting in the office behind the HR department. The HR person took one look at him and told him tactfully that his skills didn't match. David slammed the table and yelled, "Skills don't match? You're just a new company. What else do you want? Do you know that I used to be the principal of Arts Academy? I'm deigning to come to your company." It was so noisy and annoying. I walked out directly. David, it's only been half a year, and you're doing so badly. Ms. Lin. Hearing the HR person's address to me, David's eyes widened. I smiled slightly. Sorry, this is my company. David instantly burst into tears and lunged towards me. The security guard stopped him. Emily, I love you. Please forgive me, okay? I chuckled and had the security guard G him out. During that time, David kept trying to block me downstairs. Each time, my people beat him away. Later, he stopped coming. Not because he had figured things out, but because the debt collectors came. Before, he had borrowed money from other places to repay the loan. It was a vicious cycle. A year later, I heard about him again. To repay the debt, he forced Ashley to work as an escort. Ashley initially had feelings for him, but later, she was tormented beyond recognition. She stabbed his family with a knife. The old woman died on the spot, and he and his brother were paralyzed. His sister-in-law ran away with little Timmy. This was their retribution. Half a year later, on the day I got my marriage certificate with my husband, I saw a dirty, disabled beggar on the road. I pitied him and gave him a few dollars. In the moment our eyes met, he immediately lowered his head and crawled away, dragging his paralyzed legs, crying and laughing at the same time. The end.